Ayla had always felt the pull of two worlds, even long before she met Holt. Her tribe believed every person was born with a path carved by the spirits, but Ayla sensed that hers kept bending away from the one expected of her. She tried to follow tradition. She honored the rituals, learned the crafts, and obeyed the elders, but the restless ache inside her only grew stronger. It was as though the wind itself whispered that her destiny lay somewhere beyond the river, where the land stretched wide and unfamiliar. Meeting Holt didn't create that longing, but it gave it a shape. The quiet rancher lived alone on the far side of the valley, tending to his cattle, fixing his fences, and speaking only when he had something worth saying. The tribe saw him and his kind as outsiders who stripped the earth for profit, who lived without the guidance of ancestral wisdom. But when Ayla met Holt during a rare trade day, she saw a man who listened more than he talked, whose eyes carried loneliness without bitterness. He treated her with a respect she had never felt, not as the elder's chosen apprentice, not as a future bride to the tribe's strongest hunter, but simply as herself. The warnings began as gentle reminders. "Your future is here," the elders said. "Your bloodline ties you to us," her mother urged. But when the bonding ceremony drew near, when Ryden, the tribe's most skilled tracker, prepared himself to claim her as tradition demanded, the reminders turned to pressure. Some called Holt dangerous. Others said Ayla was becoming too curious about a world that was not hers. Many accused her of forgetting who she was. But she had never known who she truly was until she saw the way. Holt watched the sunrise each morning, as though every new day was a promise. That was the moment she realized she could not stay where she no longer felt alive. On the final night before the ceremony, Ayla walked to the tribe's sacred border. The moon lit the path in pale silver. One step forward meant exile, dishonor, and losing every piece of the life she had been born into. Her heart pounded, her hands trembled, and for a moment she wondered if the spirits would condemn her. Then she stepped. She reached Holt's ranch exhausted, shivering from fear and cold. He opened the door before she could knock. He didn't ask why she had come. He simply pulled her into the warm glow of the lantern light and whispered, "You're safe here." But safety would not last, not with her tribe already preparing to reclaim what they believed was theirs. Life on the ranch took shape slowly. Like a new language, Ayla had to learn word by word. The work was different from anything she'd done in the tribe, less ceremonial, more practical, driven by necessity rather than tradition. At dawn, Holt handed her a tin cup of bitter coffee and a list of tasks. By midday, her hands were blistered, her shoulders stiff, and her clothing covered in dust and hay. Yet something inside her welcomed the exhaustion. It proved she wasn't fragile, that she could survive outside the world she had abandoned. What unsettled her most was the quiet. In the tribe, she had grown up, surrounded by constant motion and the collective rhythm of many lives intertwined. Elders chanting, hunters returning with loud stories, children running between tents. Every moment carried sound. Here, silence stretched across the land like a blanket. Holt could go hours without speaking, content with the company of his animals and the wind. Ayla didn't mind the solitude, but it often forced her to confront the choices she'd made. There were moments she wondered if she had misread her own heart, if she had left too much behind. But then Holt would glance her way, offering a small nod or a rare smile, and the doubts faded just enough for her to keep going. One evening, she was repairing a chicken coop when she sensed a presence approaching. The hairs on her arms lifted. These instincts had been taught to her since childhood, and they never failed her. She turned toward the open field and froze. A figure was walking toward the ranch with unwavering purpose. Even before she recognized the dark braids and the confident stride, her stomach tightened. Ruden, the tribe's tracker, the man chosen for her bonding ceremony, the last person she expected to see here. He stopped just beyond the fence line, his expression unreadable. Ayla felt her pulse hammering as she approached him. The space between them felt thick with unspoken history. "Ayla," he said quietly, though his tone carried more accusation than greeting. "You've been gone long enough. It's time to return." "I'm not coming back," she said, lifting her chin. "You broke sacred law. Ryden replied. The elders sent me to bring you home, peacefully if possible. Before Ayla could respond, Holt appeared beside her, his presence solid and grounding. Ryden's eyes flicked to him with disdain. This rancher thinks he can shield you, Ryden said. He cannot. Ayla stepped forward. She didn't hide, didn't retreat, didn't let Holt speak for her. I don't need protection, she said. I made my choice. But as Ryden's gaze darkened, she realized he hadn't come only for her. The tribe wanted something else, something they believed she had brought, with her to the ranch, something worth crossing boundaries to claim. Ayla had known the moment Ryden appeared at the ranch that her past would not stay buried. The tribe had never been a group to leave matters unresolved, especially not when they believed something sacred or dangerous was at stake. After the confrontation at the fence, the valley fell into an uneasy quiet. Holt tried to reassure her, offering to take her into town until things cooled off. But Ayla only shook her head. Running once had set all of this in motion. Running again would only feed the fear she had spent her life trying to escape. There's something you don't know, she said, and Holt immediately sensed the weight behind her words. She led him to the barn, her footsteps soft against the wooden floor. Hidden beneath a tarp lay the secret she had refused to share with anyone for years. When she pulled the fabric back, Holt's eyes widened as he took in the intricate creation, a device made from carved wood and polished metal fragments, etched with symbols from her tribe's oldest runes. It looked like a strange mixture of ancient tradition and forbidden ingenuity. Ayla exhaled slowly. When I was young, the elders saw potential in me. They believed I'd been chosen by the spirits of invention. I designed things they couldn't understand, mechanisms, carvings, tools that shouldn't have worked, but did. She ran her fingers over the lines she had carved. The elders said it was a gift. But when they realized how powerful these ideas could be, they wanted to direct them, control them. Holt's gaze shifted from the device to Ayla. They wanted you to build something for them. She nodded. They called it a balance breaker, a way to tip power in the tribe's favor. Not for protection, but for dominance. Her voice trembled with a mixture of anger and regret. I refused. I knew what it could become. That's when they decided I was dangerous, not just for disobedience, but because I carried knowledge they feared losing. The distant sound of a horn echoed through the valley then, low and haunting. Ayla stiffened. Holt moved closer, instinctively protective, though he didn't fully understand what was coming. They're not here for you, Ayla whispered. They're here for this, and they won't stop until they have it. She lifted the device in her arms, the weight both familiar and terrifying. She had spent months sneaking out at night to modify it, not to complete it the way the elders wanted, but to change its purpose entirely. This time, she said, resolve hardening in her voice, I'm not choosing between worlds. I'm choosing the future I want to create. And whatever happened next would reshape both the tribe and the ranch forever.